The message came on a Tuesday, simple radio waves, but in a pattern too perfect to be natural. The world held its breath as scientists worked day and night to decode it. After 3 days, they had their answer. "We come in peace," the message said in mathematical language. "We are the Voraks." Captain Junho Kim stood on the bridge of the UES Defender, Earth's newest and most advanced spacecraft. At 42, with short black hair now showing some gray, he had never expected to be humanity's first ambassador to an alien species. "Captain, the Vorax ship is approaching," said his communications officer. "They're asking to dock." Junho nodded. "Grant permission. Alert the welcome team." The Defender had been rushed to space when Earth detected the alien ship entering the solar system. Now, orbiting above Earth, Junho felt the weight of 7 billion people's hopes and fears on his shoulders. Dr. Yunha Park adjusted her uniform and checked her translator device one last time. As Earth's leading xenobiologist, she had studied theoretical alien life for 20 years. Now theory would become reality. "Nervous?" Junho asked her as they stood at the airlock. "Excited," she replied with a small smile. "This is why I became a scientist." The airlock hissed open. 3 tall figures stepped through. They had smooth gray skin that seemed to shift like liquid metal. Their 4 eyes, too large, too small, blinked at different times. They had no visible mouth, yet somehow the translator picked up their words. "We greet Earth with friendship," the tallest one said. "I am Ambassador Vex of the Vorax Collective." "Welcome aboard the Defender," Junho said. "I am Captain Junho Kim of the United Earth Defense Force." The meeting went to the Great Hall, where Earth's representatives sat across from the Vorax. Ambassador Vex spoke of their advanced civilization, their travels across the stars, and their desire to share knowledge with humanity. "We offer technology, medicine, and science beyond your current understanding," Vex said. "In return, we ask only to study your unique planet." The Earth delegates looked at each other with excitement. It seemed too good to be true. It was. Later that night, as Yunha reviewed recordings of the meeting, something bothered her. She played the videos again and again, watching the aliens' movements. "Computer, analyze Vorax body language compared to their words," she said. The computer worked for several minutes. Warning: 78% probability of deception detected. Yunha rushed to find Captain Kim. She found him in his quarters, reviewing the day's events. "Captain, something's wrong," she said. "The Vorax. They're lying to us." Junho frowned. "What do you mean?" "Their body language doesn't match their words. And look at these scans." She showed him readings from the ship's sensors. "They're scanning our defenses, our weapons, our communications, not our culture or biology as they claimed." Junho's face darkened. "I'll speak with Ambassador Vex immediately." But it was already too late. The ship's alarms blared. "Captain to the bridge. Captain to the bridge." Junho and Yunha ran. When they arrived, chaos greeted them. Multiple Vorax ships dropping out of light speed, his tactical officer reported. Hundreds of them. "Sir, raise shields. Alert Earth defense," Junho ordered. On the main screen, they watched in horror as more Vorax ships appeared around Earth. The diplomatic vessel they had docked with suddenly broke away, its outer shell falling apart to reveal weapon systems. "They tricked us," Yunha whispered. The first shots hit the Defender before they could raise shields fully. The ship shook violently. "Return fire," Junho ordered. Earth's orbital defense stations began firing, but the Vorax ships moved too fast, their weapons too powerful. One by one, the defense stations went dark. "Sir, we've lost contact with Helsinki Station and New Beijing Station," reported the communications officer. "Tokyo Station is under heavy attack." Junho gripped the command chair. "Get us between them and Earth. We have to buy time for ground defenses to activate." The Defender turned, engines straining as it moved to protect the planet below. "Captain," Yunha said quietly beside him, What do they want? Juno watched the Vorax ships swarming like hungry predators. Not peace, he said grimly. Not peace at all. As the battle raged around them, one thing became clear. Humanity was outmatched. The first contact had been a lie. The invasion of Earth had begun. 3 months had passed since first contact. 3 months of running, hiding, and losing. Major Taehyun Lee crouched in the remains of what was once Seoul's tallest building. At 35, he had been a respected military officer. Now he was just another soldier trying to keep his people alive. Status report, he said into his radio. West sector clear, came the reply. North sector has 3 Vorax ships hovering. East sector is burning. Taehyun looked up at the sky. It was no longer blue. Hundreds of Vorax ships blocked the sun, casting the world in shadow. Every major city on Earth faced the same darkness. Major civilians are safely in the underground bunker, said Sergeant Mina, his second in command. Her uniform was torn and dirty, like everyone else. Good. Any word from command? She shook her head. Communications are still spotty. But we got a message from Captain Kim. The Defender is still fighting in orbit. Somehow. Taehyun nodded. The fact that any human ship survived was a miracle. The Vorax technology was far beyond Earth's. Their ships moved faster, their weapons hit harder, and their shields were nearly unbreakable. We need to move, he said. The Vorax will sweep this sector soon. They gathered their small team and headed underground. The subway tunnels had become humanity's roads, safe from the eyes in the sky. At the hidden base 30 meters below the city, communications specialist Ju Kang worked tirelessly at her station. Her job was to intercept and decode Vorax transmissions. For weeks, she had made little progress. Anything new? Taehyun asked as he entered the command center. Ju-woo looked up, her eyes red from lack of sleep. Yes, Major. I've found a pattern. The Vorax aren't just attacking randomly. They're searching for something. She showed him the decoded maps. Vorax attack patterns weren't focused on military targets or population centers. They formed a search grid. What are they looking for? Taehyun asked. I don't know yet, but look at these hotspots. She pointed to areas of intense Vorax activity. Universities, research centers, even some rural areas. A loud boom shook dust from the ceiling. The Vorax were bombing again. Major, a soldier ran into the room. They'd broken through the eastern defense line. They're pouring into the city. Taehyun grabbed his rifle. Sound the alarm. All fighters to battle stations. Throughout the underground base, soldiers prepared for combat. They had few weapons that could hurt the Vorax, but they would fight anyway. Ju-woo, keep working on those transmissions, Taehyun ordered. If we know what they want, maybe we can use it against them. She nodded and turned back to her work as Taehyun led his team to the surface. The sight that greeted them was hell itself. Vorax ground troops moved through the streets. They stood 3 meters tall, their armor reflecting the fires around them. Each carried weapons that could cut through concrete like paper. Hold position, Taehyun whispered to his team. Wait for my signal. The Vorax moved methodically, scanning buildings and taking samples from the ground. One approached the small dog cowering behind a destroyed car. The dog growled, then barked loudly. Strangely, the Vorax stepped back. It seemed almost afraid. Before Taehyun could process what he'd seen, another Vorax spotted them. Fire, he shouted. The humans opened fire. Their bullets bounced off Vorax armor, barely leaving marks. The aliens returned fire, their energy weapons tearing through the concrete barriers. Fall back, Taehyun ordered. As they retreated, his radio crackled. It was Ju-woo. Major, I've decoded more transmissions, she said, her voice urgent. They keep repeating one word in their language. It translates roughly to companion or friend. What does that mean? Taehyun asked as energy blasts exploded around him. I don't know, but it's what they're looking for. Or maybe, what they're afraid of. Taehyun thought about the Vorax soldier stepping away from the barking dog. Could there be a connection? As his team retreated deeper into the city, Taehyun knew one thing for certain. If humanity couldn't outfight the Vorax, they needed to find their weakness. And fast. Because the war for Earth had only just begun. Dr. Yunha Park hadn't slept in 2 days. The underground lab beneath Mount Hala on Jeju Island was humanity's last major research facility. Here, protected by natural rock and advanced stealth technology, scientists worked to find any edge against the Vorax. "Dr. Park, you need to see this," said her assistant, Hyun-woo Song. At 26, he was the youngest member of her team, but also one of the brightest. Hyun-woo's service dog, Bori, a golden retriever, followed closely at his side. Due to a childhood accident, Hyun-woo needed Bori to alert him before seizures. The dog had saved his life many times. Yunha followed them to the containment area where they kept a captured Vorax soldier. The alien was secured behind thick glass. It had been injured in battle and couldn't move much, but it was alive. "Watch what happens," Hyun-woo said. He opened a panel and pushed a button. A small door in the containment wall opened. A cage with a cat inside was revealed. The cat meowed loudly. The reaction was immediate and shocking. The Vorax soldier's smooth skin began to bubble. It let out a high-pitched sound and backed away from the cat, as far as its chains would allow. "Now watch this," Hyun-woo said. He pressed another button, and the cat was removed. The Vorax calmed down. Hyun-woo opened another panel. This time, a small bird in a cage appeared. The Vorax showed no reaction. "I've tested various animals," Hyun-woo explained. "The Vorax only react to mammals that humans have domesticated. Dogs, cats, horses, even hamsters." Yunha's mind raced. "How did you discover this?" Hyun-woo looked down at Bori. "When I first came to examine the prisoner, Bori came with me. The Vorax nearly died from the proximity. I noticed its skin changing color and texture. We've been running tests ever since." "Why didn't you tell me immediately?" Yunha asked. "I wanted to be sure," Hyun-woo said. "I needed more data." Yunha walked closer to the glass. The Vorax watched her with its 4 eyes. "This could be significant," she said. "We need to understand the mechanism." Just then, Colonel Minja Choi entered the lab. As the military strategist assigned to the research team, he oversaw the practical applications of their discoveries. "Dr. Park, have you made progress?" he asked. "Colonel, we may have found something," Yunha said. She quickly explained what Hyun-woo had discovered. Colonel Choi watched as they demonstrated the Vorax reaction to different animals. His eyes widened with each test. "Do you understand what this means?" he finally asked. "We've been fighting a losing war because the Vorax technology is superior. But this," he gestured to the suffering alien, "this is biological. Something about our companion animals hurts them. We need to know why," Yunha said. "Hyun-woo, prepare for full biological testing. I want blood samples, air samples, everything." As they worked, Hyun-woo suddenly collapsed. Bori barked loudly and nudged his master. Yunha recognized the warning signs of a seizure. "Get medical help," she shouted. But before anyone could move, something unexpected happened. Hyun-woo's seizure began, and Bori moved closer, licking his face. The Vorax prisoner screamed in what seemed like agony. The alien's skin not only bubbled but began to split open. It thrashed against its restraints, making horrible sounds. "What's happening?" Colonel Choi asked. Yunha watched in amazement. Bori's trying to help Hyun-woo. When a service dog senses a seizure, it releases calming pheromones. Those pheromones must be what affects the Vorax. Medical staff arrived and helped Hyun-woo, who was already recovering. Bori stayed close by his side. Colonel Choi turned to Yunha. "Can we use this? Can we weaponize it?" Yunha looked at the Vorax, now lying still but breathing heavily. Its skin was slowly healing. "Yes," she said. I think we can. Thousands of years of evolution have created a bond between humans and certain animals. That bond produced unique biochemical markers, pheromones that our bodies recognize as friendly. And these pheromones are poison to the Vorax. Colonel Choi finished. Yunha nodded. We couldn't outfight them. But maybe, just maybe, we can unleash what loved us. For the first time since the invasion, hope flickered in the dark underground lab. The military base hidden in the Himalayas was built into the mountain itself. Far from major cities, it had escaped Vorax attention. The air was thin and cold, but inside the base, scientists and soldiers worked with renewed energy. Welcome to Project Companion, Colonel Minja Choi said as he led Captain Junho Kim through the secure doors. Junho looked tired. His ship, the Defender, had finally been destroyed after months of fighting in orbit. He was one of the few survivors. Why was I brought here? Junho asked. I should be on the front lines. Because what we're doing here might win the war, Minja said, and we need your leadership. They entered a large room where dozens of scientists worked. In the center stood Dr. Yunha Park, giving instructions to her team. Around the room were cages containing dogs, cats, and other animals. Yunha, Junho said in surprise. You're alive. She turned and smiled briefly. It's good to see you, Captain. Show him, Minja said. Yunha nodded and led them to another room. Inside was a glass chamber containing a Vorax soldier. It sat perfectly still until Yunha pressed a button. A small door opened and a border collie entered the chamber. The effect was immediate. The Vorax's skin began to bubble and crack. It tried to move away from the dog, but could not escape the small room. We've captured 23 Vorax for testing, Yunha explained. All showed the same reaction. But why? Junho asked. This is Dr. Do Yun, Yunha said, introducing an older man with gray hair. He's our top veterinary scientist. The answer is in their chemistry, Do Yun explained. For thousands of years, humans and certain animals have lived together. This created a unique bond. Our animals produce special pheromones that make us feel good. Oxytocin, serotonin triggers, and other compounds we're still identifying. These chemicals are like poison to the Vorax, Yunha added. Their biology is so different from Earth life that what creates feelings of love and safety for us creates pain for them. Junho watched as the Vorax continued to suffer in the presence of the dog. Can we use this as a weapon? We're working on it, Minja said. Come with me. He led Junho to another part of the base. Here, soldiers trained with dogs. The animals wore special vests with equipment attached. Military working dogs, Minji explained. We're training them to attack Vorax troops. But it's not enough. The effect is limited to close range. In another room, scientists worked with clear liquids and lab equipment. We're trying to isolate and concentrate the compounds, Yunha explained. If we can make a synthetic version, we could create a weapon that affects larger areas. Have you tested it? Junho asked. Yesterday, Minja said grimly. Small scale, in what remains of Busan. A team of soldiers with 5 dogs attacked a Vorax patrol. They killed 3 aliens before being wiped out. 3? Junho was shocked. That's the first time we've killed any of their ground troops. Exactly, Minja said. It's working, but the cost is too high. We need your help planning larger operations. Before Junho could respond, alarms blared throughout the base. What's happening? He shouted over the noise. Yunha ran to a computer. Vorax ships approaching. They found us. Impossible, Minja said. We're hidden under a mountain with stealth technology. Unless, Do-Yun's face went pale. They detected the animals. If they're searching for the pheromones. The building shook as the first bombs hit the mountainside. Evacuate, Minja ordered. Get all research data and essential personnel to the backup site. Junho grabbed Yunha's arm. Your research is too important. You need to leave now. The animals, she said. We can't leave them. The mountain shook again, harder this time. Dust fell from the ceiling. Get the research data, Junho told her firmly. I'll help with the animals. As Yunho rushed to secure her work, Shunho and Doyun began moving the frightened animals to transport vehicles. If we lose this research, Doyun said as they worked, humanity loses its only advantage. Another explosion rocked the base, closer this time. We won't lose, Junho promised, thinking of the suffering Vorax in the test chamber. For the first time, we have hope. Outside, Vorax ships darkened the sky, but inside the mountain, humanity's secret weapon was on the move. The race to save Earth had begun. News of Project Companion spread through hidden human networks, whispered at first, then spoken openly among survivors. The Vorax had a weakness. Humanity's pets could hurt them. In what remained of New York, Subin Quan led a small team of fighters. Once a police dog trainer, now she was a resistance leader. She moved silently through the ruins of Central Park, 4 trained German shepherds at her side. Vorax patrol ahead, whispered her scout. 5 soldiers. Subin nodded and signaled to her team. They had done this 6 times now. Each time, they learned more about how to fight the aliens. Remember, she told her team, the dogs go first. When the Vorax are weakened, we attack. Aim for the joints in their armor. The teams spread out, surrounding the Vorax patrol. Subin waited until all were in position, then whistled sharply. The dogs burst from hiding, running straight at the aliens. The Vorax spotted them and raised their weapons, but too late. The dogs reached them and began circling, barking loudly. The effect was immediate. The Vorax soldiers staggered, their skin bubbling under their armor. They fired wildly, missing the fast-moving dogs. Now, Subin shouted. Her team attacked from all sides, firing at the weakened aliens. 3 Vorax fell quickly. The 4th managed to kill 1 dog before being taken down. The 5th escaped, wounded. Secure the area, Subin ordered. She knelt beside the fallen dog, tears in her eyes. You fought well, brave one. After the battle, Subin's team gathered in an old subway station. Their underground base was small but safe. Dozens of dogs and cats lived here with the humans. We lost Chen today, Subin said, but we took down 4 Vorax. The new vests worked. The dogs now wore special vests designed to amplify their natural pheromones. Scientists from Project Companion had shared the design through resistance networks. A radio crackled. Falcon-based to Wolf Team. Come in. Subin picked up the radio. Wolf Team here. We have reports that the Vorax are raiding animal shelters and pet stores, said the voice. They're killing every domestic animal they find. Anger flashed across Subin's face. They figured out our strategy. There's more. A large Vorax processing center has been set up in Old Seoul. They're taking captured animals there for study. Subin looked at her team. We need to stop them. If they learn how to counter the pheromones, it would be suicide, said her second-in-command. Old Seoul is heavily guarded. I'll go, said a quiet voice. Everyone turned. A woman stepped forward from the shadows. She was thin and tough-looking, with short hair and determined eyes. My name is Jihai Nam, she said. I worked at Seoul Grand Park Zoo before the invasion. I know the city and I know animals. One person can't do this alone. Subin said, I won't be alone. Jai whistled softly. A large Jindo dog appeared at her side. Duri has helped me save over 50 animals from Vorax patrols. We can do this. After discussion, a plan formed. Jai would infiltrate the Vorax facility with help from local resistance. Subin's team would create a distraction. 3 days later, under cover of darkness, the mission began. Subin led her team and dogs to the eastern side of Old Seoul. They attacked a Vorax patrol, drawing attention. Miles away, Jihai slipped into the processing center through underground tunnels. Duri followed silently. They'd reached the holding area where hundreds of cages contained dogs, cats, and other pets. The animals were quiet, as if sensing the need for silence. HFY worked quickly, opening cages and guiding animals to the tunnels where resistance members waited. As she opened the last cage, an alarm sounded. "Time to go, Dury," she whispered. They ran for the exit, but a Vorax soldier blocked their path. The alien raised its weapon. Dury leaped forward, growling. The Vorax screamed as the dog's presence caused its skin to bubble. HFY didn't waste the opportunity. She fired her weapon at the alien's exposed neck, and it fell. Outside, the night sky lit up with explosions as Subin's team battled Vorax forces. "All animals clear," HFY radioed. Mission accomplished. As she and Dury disappeared into the tunnels with the rescued animals, a new hope spread through the resistance. Humanity couldn't outfight the Vorax, but they have found their edge. The war had changed. 6 months into the war, humanity lived underground. Cities lay in ruins above them. But for the first time, humans were fighting back. Dr. Yunha Park worked in the new lab built inside an abandoned mine in Australia. After escaping the Himalayan base, Project Companion had moved here. The location was remote, and the deep tunnels provided protection from Vorax scans. Yunha looked through her microscope at the clear liquid in the dish. This was attempt number 47 to create a stable synthetic version of the animal pheromones. "Any change?" asked Dr. Do Yun, who worked at the station next to her. "It's stable for 20 minutes now," Yunha said. "Better than before, but not good enough." The door opened, and Captain Junho Kim entered with Colonel Minja Choi. Both men looked tired but determined. "We receive reports from resistance groups worldwide," Junho said. "The Vorax are adapting. They've created suits that block some of the effects of the animal pheromones." "Our window is closing," Minji added. "We need the synthetic compound now." Yunha rubbed her tired eyes. "We're close. The problem is keeping it stable outside a living host. In animals, these compounds are constantly produced. Our synthetic version breaks down too quickly." "What if we don't need it to last long?" Chunho asked. "What if we just need one strong burst?" Yunha considered this. A concentrated dose could work, but delivery would be difficult. "We'd need to get very close to the Vorax." "Show them," Minja said to Chunho. Chunho placed a small device on the table. It looked like a metal ball with tiny holes. "This is from engineer Dongwon Lee," Chunho explained. "He calls it a pheromone burst device. It can disperse the compound as a fine mist." Yunha picked up the device. "How many can he make?" 500 so far, Chunho said. "With more materials, he can make thousands." "We're calling it Operation Unleashed," Minja said. "A coordinated attack on Vorax strongholds worldwide. But we need your compound to make it work." Yunha and Doyun shared a look. "Give us 48 hours, she said. 2 days later, Yunha stood in the test chamber. Behind thick glass, observers watched nervously. A secured Vorax soldier waited inside a containment unit. "Beginning test 5, Yunha announced. She activated the burst device. Fine mist filled the air around the Vorax. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the alien began to scream. Its skin not only bubbled but seemed to melt. In 30 seconds, it collapsed. Complete cellular breakdown, Dohyun reported, checking the monitors. The synthetic compound is 5 times more potent than natural pheromones. A cheer went up from the observers. Chunho and Minji smiled for the first time in months. "How soon can we produce enough for Operation Unleashed?" Minji asked. 2 weeks, Yunha said. "But there's a problem. The effect only lasts for about 3 minutes before the compound breaks down." 3 minutes might be enough, Junho said, "if we time our attacks correctly." Later that day, they tested the compound in a real-world situation. A small team led by Major Taehyun Lee used the device against a Vorax patrol in what remained of Busan. The result was better than expected. All 5 Vorax soldiers were killed, with no human casualties. Engineer Dongwon Lee continued to improve the burst devices. He worked day and night, creating smaller versions that soldiers could carry easily. Each soldier gets 3 devices, he explained at the planning meeting. Once activated, you have 10 seconds before it releases the compound. The mist will affect all Voraks within 20 meters. Chunho studied the map of global Voraks positions. We'll need to hit them simultaneously, if they have time to adapt. They won't, Minja said firmly. We've kept this secret. Only team leaders know the full plan. As the day of Operation Unleashed approached, resistance groups worldwide prepared. Weapons were distributed, plans were finalized, and hope spread through hidden human communities. In her lab, Yunha watched the production of the synthetic compound. Thousands of vials of clear liquid, humanity's best hope. Do you think it will work? Do-hyun asked quietly. It has to, Yunha replied. Because if it doesn't, there won't be a second chance. The countdown to Operation Unleashed had begun. Dawn broke over what remained of Seoul. Major Tae-hyun Lee checked his watch. 6 minutes until Operation Unleashed began worldwide. All teams ready? He asked into his radio. Team 1 ready. Team 2 in position. Team 3 standing by. Tae-hyun looked at his soldiers. Each carried 3 pheromone burst devices and conventional weapons. They had trained for weeks for this moment. Remember, he said, timing is everything. The compound only works for 3 minutes. We move fast, hit hard, and don't stop. Around the world, similar scenes played out. In New York, Sudan Kwan led her team toward the Voraks Command Center. In London, resistance fighters moved through underground tunnels. In Moscow, Sydney, and Cairo, humans prepared to fight back. In orbit above Earth, a small stealth ship approached the massive Voraks command vessel. Inside, Captain Junho Kim led a team of 20 elite soldiers. Each wore a special suit designed by engineer Dongwon. Ship is in position, the pilot reported. Docking in 30 seconds. Junho checked his weapons. Once we're inside, we have 15 minutes to reach the central command and plant the devices. After that, the Voraks will detect us. The ship docked silently against the massive alien vessel. Cutting tools sliced through the hull, creating an entrance. Shunho's team moved inside, weapons ready. On Earth, Major Tae-hyun watched his clock. Operation Unleashed begins now, he said into his radio. His team surged forward from their hiding places. The Voraks guards at the entrance to their base saw them coming and raised their weapons. Tae-hyun activated a burst device and threw it. It landed among the aliens and released its mist. The effect was immediate. The Voraks guards collapsed, their skin melting from their bodies. Tae-hyun's team moved past them into the base. 3 minutes, he reminded his soldiers. Make them count. Inside the orbital command ship, Shunho's team moved quietly through the corridors. They had studied Voraks ship designs from captured data. The central command should be 3 levels up. Contact, whispered his point man. 4 Voraks ahead. Shunho nodded and activated a burst device. They waited 10 seconds, then threw it toward the aliens. The mist spread, and the Voraks fell, their bodies dissolving. Move, Shunho ordered. All across Earth, the scene repeated. Humanity struck back with their new weapon. The Voraks, who had dominated the war until now, found themselves suddenly vulnerable. In Seoul, Tae-hyun's team fought their way to the control center of the Voraks base. They lost 3 soldiers but kept moving forward. Each time they encountered Voraks troops, they used the burst devices. 2 minutes left on the first device, Tae-hyun warned. Activate your second ones now. New mist filled the air, keeping the effect going. They'd reached the control center and secured it quickly. Seoul base captured, Tae-hyun reported into the global communication network. Similar reports came in from around the world. New York, London, Sydney. Humanity was winning battles for the first time. On the orbital command ship, Shunho's team faced heavier resistance. The Voraks had detected them, and sent soldiers to stop them. In the narrow corridors, fighting was intense. "We're pinned down," Junho said as enemy fire hit the wall near his head. "We need to reach the command center." His second-in-command activated 2 burst devices at once. The resulting mist was so thick it filled the entire corridor. The Vorax attackers fell, their bodies dissolving. "That's your last devices," Junho warned. "We need to move now." They ran through the corridors, reaching the command center just as the effect of the mist began to fade. Inside, they found the Vorax commander, larger than other Vorax, with armor that seemed to protect it from the lingering mist. "Plant the charges," Junho ordered. His team began placing explosive devices around the room. The Vorax commander spoke, its voice translated by their equipment. "You cannot win. We are superior." "You were," Junho replied, activating his final burst device and throwing it directly at the commander. The concentrated mist penetrated the alien's armor. It screamed as its skin dissolved. "Charges set," reported a soldier. 2 minutes to detonation. "Fall back to the ship," Junho ordered. As they retreated, reports continued to come in from Earth. Victories in Cairo, in Moscow, in Rio de Janeiro. For the first time since the invasion began, humanity was pushing back. The Vorax were running. 1 week after Operation Unleashed, humanity celebrated their victories. They had retaken major cities and destroyed many Vorax ships. For the first time, people dared to hope the war might end. In the Australian Command Center, Captain Junho Kim watched the global map with Colonel Minja Choi. Blue dots showed human-controlled areas, growing larger each day. "Seoul is completely clear," Taehyun reported via video link. His face was tired but proud. "We've pushed the Vorax back 50 kilometers in all directions." Similar reports came in from around the world. The synthetic pheromone weapon had changed everything. Then the alarm sounded. "Multiple objects entering Earth's atmosphere," announced the radar operator. Hundreds, no, thousands of them. On the main screen, they watched as new Vorax ships appeared. These were different, larger with strange outer shells. "They called reinforcements," Minja said grimly. The largest ship, twice the size of any they had seen before, took position over Central Asia. A message was broadcast to all human communication channels. "Humans of Earth," came a deep voice. "I am Supreme Commander Vor of the Vorax Collective. Your resistance ends now." The new Vorax forces attacked with terrible power. Cities that had just been liberated fell again. Human fighters used their pheromone weapons, but something had changed. "The burst devices aren't working," Subin reported from New York. "The Vorax are wearing new suits. The mist can't get through." In the lab, Dr. Yunha Park worked frantically to understand what had happened. "They've adapted," she told Junho and Minja. "Their new armor blocks the synthetic compound completely." "Can we make it stronger?" Junho asked. Yunha shook her head. "We've already made it as strong as possible. If we increase the concentration more, it becomes unstable." Reports from the front lines grew worse. The new Vorax forces pushed humans back underground. The brief hope of victory faded. "We need another way," Minja said. "Dr. Park, what about the animals themselves? Can the Vorax block natural pheromones too?" Yunha thought for a moment. "Their new armor seems designed specifically to block our synthetic compound. It might not be as effective against the complex mix of natural pheromones. But we'd need many more animals than we have in our fighting forces," Junho said. "What if we used all of them?" Minja asked quietly. "Every domestic animal on Earth." The room fell silent as they considered this idea. "There are still millions of dogs, cats, and other pets in hiding with human survivors," Yunha said slowly. "But how would we coordinate such an effort?" "We'd need to enhance them somehow," Junho added. "Make their natural pheromones stronger." Yunha's eyes widened. "We could do that. A simple injection to stimulate their glands. It wouldn't harm them, but it would make their effect on the Vorax much stronger." And we'd need to gather them all in key locations, Minja said. Draw the Vorax into traps. They worked through the night, developing what they called Operation Loyal Friend. It was dangerous and desperate, but they had no other choice. The plan went out to all resistance groups. Gather every domestic animal you can find. Bring them to designated medical stations for enhancement. Prepare for the final battle. Dr. Doyen Yoon developed the enhancement formula. This will triple their natural pheromone output for about 6 hours, he explained. No side effects for the animals. 3 days later, as Vorax forces continued to advance, humanity prepared for their final stand. In hiding places around the world, millions of dogs, cats, horses, and other animals received the enhancement injection. In what remained of Seoul, Major Taehyun set the trap. His soldiers placed enhanced animals throughout the city center, then broadcast false information about a human weapons storage facility. In New York, Subin did the same. In London, Moscow, and 100 other cities, the scene repeated. Then they waited for the Vorax to take the bait. This has to work, Chunho said as he watched from the command center. Because if it doesn't, Yumha took his hand. It will work. They couldn't kill our spirit, and now they'll face what truly makes us human. Our capacity to love and be loved in return. On the screens, they watched as Vorax forces moved toward the traps. The final battle for Earth was about to begin. The Vorax took the bait. Their forces poured into Seoul, New York, London, and other cities around the world. They expected to find human weapons. Instead, they found something far more dangerous. In Seoul, Major Taehyun watched from a hidden bunker as the trap was sprung. At his signal, hidden doors opened throughout the city. Thousands of dogs of every breed rushed out into the streets. Behind them came cats, then rabbits, hamsters, and other pets. Through his binoculars, Taehyun saw the first Vorax soldiers encounter the wave of animals. The aliens raised their weapons, but then staggered. Their new armor slowed the effect but couldn't stop it completely. The natural pheromones from so many enhanced animals overwhelmed their defenses. It's working, he said into his radio. Move to Phase 2. Across the city, resistance fighters emerged from hiding. They attacked the weakened Vorax, who could barely stand as waves of animals surrounded them. The scene repeated worldwide. In New York, Sudan led her team through streets filled with domestic animals. The Vorax forces tried to retreat but found themselves trapped. They never understood what makes us human, Suvan said as she watched a group of Vorax soldiers fall, surrounded by barking dogs. Our connection to these animals evolved over thousands of years. It's part of who we are. In orbit, Captain Junho led a daring mission. While the Vorax forces were distracted by the ground attack, a small team boarded Supreme Commander Vor's ship. With them, they brought 20 specially enhanced dogs. We're approaching the command center, Junho reported. No resistance so far. They've sent most of their forces to the surface. The team reached the large doors of the command center. Engineer Dongwon placed explosive charges. Ready on your mark, Captain. Detonate, Junho ordered. The doors blew open. Inside, Supreme Commander Vor and his officers turned in surprise. They were larger than regular Vorax, with thicker armor. Release the dogs, Junho ordered. The animals rushed forward. The effect was immediate and shocking. Despite their heavy armor, the Vorax commanders began to convulse. Their skin bubbled and split even through their protective suits. Supreme Commander Vor fought longer than the others. He staggered toward Junho, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly. What is this power? He gasped, his translator still working. It's not a weapon, Junho replied. It's love. These animals evolved alongside us, forming bonds that go beyond simple biology. What you're feeling is the biochemical result of thousands of years of companionship. The Supreme Commander fell to his knees. Impossible. We are superior. No, Junho said. You just never understood what truly makes a species strong. As the Supreme Commander collapsed, his ship sent out a signal. All across Earth, the remaining Vorac's forces began to retreat. Their ships launched from the surface, heading for space. Humanity had won. 1 year later, Dr. Yunha Park stood at the new memorial in what was once Seoul. The large statue showed a human hand and an animal paw reaching for each other. Around the base, the names of thousands of animals who died in the war were engraved. Captain Junho joined her, now wearing the uniform of general. "The last Vorac ships left our solar system yesterday," he said. "Our satellites confirmed it. Will they come back?" Yunha asked. "I don't think so," Junho replied. "From what we learned from their computers, they've never encountered a species with domestic animals before. They don't understand it, and they fear what they don't understand." Children played in the park around them, many with dogs or cats at their sides. Buildings were being rebuilt. Life was returning. "We've set up sanctuaries on every continent," Yunha said. "These animals saved us. Now it's our turn to protect them." A small dog approached them, wagging its tail. Shunho knelt and petted it gently. "We couldn't outfight them," he said softly. "So we unleashed what loved us. And that made all the difference." The dog barked happily, and all around the world, humans and their animal companions continued the ancient bond that had saved Earth from the stars. The end.